The sad story of Mitsubishi still continues. And so far, I saw this headline yesterday, and according to Jalopnik, one of my favorite sites, that Mitsubishi might finally give up in the US or give up on us, basically. Well, obviously, to tell you honestly, when I was in high school, I loved Mitsubishi because they just keep on putting up awesome vehicles from Pajero Montero Shogun, from their Montero Sport, Pajero Sport Challenger, Evos, 3000 GT, FTO, Mirage Asti, Mirage Cyborg, Eclipse, VR4s, and everything like that. Now, Mitsubishi is just like a sad state of its shell of its former self, actually. This really interests me because I've been following Mitsubishi, even though I'm just barfing every time they launch new models, their misdirection. At some point, they tried to challenge Tesla for bringing all electric vehicles. Well, of course, Mitsubishi as a whole is a gigantic conglomerate in Japan, like from heavy industries, from electronics, from appliances, even from their electric fans, basically. But the sad saga of and bad luck, what Mitsubishi has been going through is just bad. I mean, of course, in Southeast Asia or some parts in Europe, Mitsubishi has been is doing still doing well. Of course, where I'm at right now in the Philippines, people love their Mitsubishi. Even this Mirage right here, which is shunned universally in the US, it's been loved here in the Philippines. Even one magazine that I saw claiming that this Mirage is one of the most beautiful cars ever on the road. I It's up to you guys to judge about that. I don't agree. And now the Mirage is on its second facelift right now that has that dynamic shield thing. And so far, according to here, this is in North America, mind you, that Mitsubishi sales in the US actually rose by 2.5% compared to 2019, which is good. But of course, the whole thing going on right now. Of course, the bump was largely driven by its Eclipse Cross, which is a sacrilege. They could have just called it RVR Cross at least, or just call it something else, not Eclipse Cross. That sullied the awesome Eclipse from the DSM eclipses of the past, basically. Of course, even its total sales of 121,046, still less than the number of course, the Chevy Malibu, which is a rental fleet special. At the moment, right now, Mitsubishi is the third leg of the Japanese French alliance of Renault Nissan alliance. So if you see those three logos, it's Renault, Nissan, and Mitsubishi. And then of course they're in the middle of a mess since Carlos Ghosn's situation thing. Although he saved Nissan at some degree and some Renault vehicles, those awesome Renault Sports, and also he's one of the catalysts from reviving Renault Alpine also. But at the moment, according to Jalopnik, Renault will focus on Europe, of course. Nissan will focus on North America since it has more weight compared to Mitsubishi. And then Mitsubishi will focus in Australasia, basically Southeast Asia, Australia. Of course, Mitsubishi and Nissan still builds key cars in Japan. But of course, Mitsubishi's strongest market will be in Australia and Southeast Asia. Here in the Philippines, they're everywhere, from their Expander, their Challenger, or Pajero Sport, Montero Sport, their of course, the Mirage G4, the L200. They call it the Triton. They call it the Triton or Strata, and the lot. And of course, some speculation are saying that Mitsubishi might pull out in the U.S. According from Automotive News, paid website. You gotta pay to get into that website. Only for the privileged or people who has money who can access this site. Addressing the investors during the Mitsubishi's annual shareholders meeting last week, Kato said automator the automaker will dial down business in mega markets such as Europe and China. He did not mention North America or US by name, but the company later confirmed that it indeed considers US as a mega market. Of course, pickups, trucks, SUVs. My question is, Mitsubishi specializes in trucks and SUVs. Of course, in the US right now, they have the Eclipse Cross, they got the Outlander ICE, which is the Outlander GT, and the partial electric vehicle. My question is, why can't they import the Pajero Montero Sport? Why? Why? I don't see why not. I mean, I saw the vehicle in person here in the Philippines. Unfortunately, I don't have the press credentials to do a review or test drive that SUV. But I can see that Montero Sport can be a good market in the US because it can be a good rival to the 4Runner as a hardcore SUV, hardcore mid-size SUV, 4x4. Not all-wheel drive, it's not a crossover, it's a body-on-frame L200 based SUV. I think the problem is that the government regulations, CARB, I hate CARB, EPA, and mostly Americans in general typically don't like diesels. And unfortunately, the Montero Sport is basically all diesels, unfortunately. And if they're gonna put a V6 in it, I don't know if they can squeeze the 3.5 liter or 3.8 liter V6 from the big Montero Pajero engine into the Montero Sport. But I can see a market on that. To be honest, I mean, sure, the look, it can be a little polarizing, but come on, it's a good SUV. Just to let you guys know what that SUV looks like, just for American audiences, if you're not familiar with the Montero Sport or Pajero Sport or Challenger, it's a very popular SUV here in the Philippines. I mean, like, they're like basically the Grand Cherokee equivalent in the US. So this is there you go, the Montero Sport in its, I think, third generation, second facelift. So that's what it looks like. Very uniformed, and it's very uniform to the Mitsubishi's lineup. And this is the rear of it. I mean, this is a good 4Runner competitor. I mean, it's a good, more choices is better for any consumer. Doesn't matter if you're a hippie who loves Priuses or a hardcore bruiser 4x4 like this one. You know? The L200, unfortunately, in the US specifically, the reason why the L200 isn't available, or the Triton or the Strata in particular isn't available in the US simply because of its chicken tax. It's a 25% tariff. You can research it. I'm not gonna delve into that in detail, but it prevents awesome pickups to arrive in the United States in general, like the Amarok, the SsangYong Muso Grand, or yeah, the Muso pickup, and of course this one, the Triton. or L200 or Strata. So many names, so many names. And that's what it looks like. Basically very uniform to the Pajero Sport, Montero Sport Challenger. And believe it or not, there is also a long bed version of this, even in a crew cab configuration like this one. This is the latest model, as you can see right there. And let me see if I can find the, oh, this is the rear, this is the, what it looks like at the back. See? And same goes with the, the Montero Sport. They don't have a V6 equivalent to these trucks in particular. Besides the chicken tax, then of course no V6 offerings. So that's basically game over. No, that's why you never see these trucks in the U.S. unless somewhere from Central America or South America plans to travel in the U.S. and you'll see here and there. I saw an L200 at one point in Las Vegas at one point, and I think I saw one Montero Pajero Sport in LA. It has that blood tears. As you can see earlier, that's what you see earlier. Okay, moving on. And it says here, even though we increase sales volume in mega markets, we have not yet achieved the level of profit we expected. Duh, Kato said. We aim to increase sales in the regions where we can offer core products. We will gradually reduce our commitment to mega markets, meaning to say that's a lame, it's more of a corporate speak as Mitsubishi might leave to the US. That's what Jalopnik said. Obviously, Mitsubishi leaving in the US would lead sad in the sense that while I look at its current offerings, when I need a chuckle, I still like the fact that it's an option to buy a Mirage for less than $14,000 brand new, which is in the US terms, in case if you guys don't know, that's really affordable. That's like bargain basement price for a vehicle. And you could get a manual transmission with a real sporter like this one. I don't know if the American market will get the second facelift model that looks like a shrunken mishmash Outlander, but I think we will. But this is not just the case in US, which what you see in Jalopnik. I pulled this one out in Motor One. It says here, Mitsubishi European lineup will be small but beautiful. So basically they will reduce their line in Europe also. It says here, Mitsubishi isn't selling well in Europe and China. The dominance of the Outlander partial hybrid electric vehicle in the old continent isn't enough to keep the brand alive. Duh. Their only alternative fuel vehicles besides diesel, what Mitsubishi is offering is the Outlander PHEV, which is it's okay, it's handsome. That's what I can say. And according to here, Takao Kato, which is of course the CEO of Mitsubishi, said that the shift in strategy back in 2017 financial year only led to 30% increase in cost compared to most recent fiscal year that ended last March without profits. Of course, not delivering some interesting vehicles into the old continent will of course hamper that. With that, it doesn't take a genius that it's time to change pace in these mega markets. Kato referred to Europe as a mega market. So they're going to shrink their lineup in general. And they're going to keep their same goes usual in the Asian market. What really questioned me is that why does the Outlander not available in all Southeast Asian market? I think that's the only missing link. And also the Mitsubishi ASX, also known as Outlander Sport in other markets, or RVR in Japan. I think the RVR name is cool. I think that RVR name would work in the US because every American likes alphanumeric badges like what Acura did. MAGA, make Acura GSR again. So yeah, another sad story for Mitsubishi. Since they don't offer significant halo sedans like a Galant, Lancer, or Eclipse, FTO, GTO, 3000 GT, the Mirage, not this Mirage, but the Lancer based Mirage, like a hatchback Lancer. Those iconic models from Mitsubishi. It's just another part of a sad story that unfortunately will still continue. But I'll monitor this story a little bit more because it's just sad. It's just a depressing story. It's like what I've been hearing about Last of Us 2 right now in the gaming world. I've been following that also, but I'm not a gaming channel, so I just follow what's going on in the gaming world too. But yeah, so that's it. Another article will be coming up next, and I'll see you guys later. Just follow my links below to follow me, and see you guys later. Peace out.